Hey, how's it going, everybody? I finally did it. I sold my 2016 Camaro. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on how I got to the point of buying my Camaro, why I sold it, and then my ideas for cars to replace it, and maybe taking suggestions from you guys in the comments. So the first brand new car that I ever owned was a 2015 Scion TC. It was $22,000, and as everybody knows, the Scion TC is pretty much a sporty Camry. And looking back, that thing would probably still be kicking to this day, no problem. But problem with that is I became a car guy while owning the Scion, and it was like a tease because the Scion it had 185 horsepower. It was the 2.5 liter four cylinder out of the Camry and kind of a lighter body, so it was just quick enough and it handled just enough at 3,100 pounds to give me that taste of like, oh, this is what a sporty car would drive like if it was actually meant to be a sporty car. So yeah, it was just kind of a blue balls of a car. And it was great, and it looked nice and stuff, but it was just kind of a tease. I wanted like an actual sports car or something that was meant, for actual cornering, a little bit faster than that. So then we go to the 2016 Camaro. And if for those of you that don't know, I drive for a living. I deliver escrow documents for a living, and we use our own vehicles and whatnot. So I used that Scion TC, put 100,000 miles on it very quickly, got, it was a little bit, well, not a little bit, kind of a bit upside down at $6,000 negative equity. So that kind of ties into why I sold this Camaro. I'll get to that in a little bit. But bought the Camaro. And whenever I tell people, I got a great deal, I got 11 grand off of sticker price and all that good jazz, that would have been really cool if I didn't have the 6 grand of negative equity kind of weighing it down too. So long story short, it was a great purchase with an awesome car, fully loaded. To this day, I think it's the only like fully loaded every last feature in a 4-cylinder. I've never seen anybody with the heads up display and whatnot. And of course, we rebuilt the engine, gave it more power. It's like, in my opinion, it's the coolest 2.0 rolling around. And I'm glad, I really hope that owner enjoys it who bought it. But, everybody knows why people like Camaros, the new ones, 2016 and up. They handle great. They're all pretty quick. I mean, the 4-cylinder, you give it a tune and it's quicker than the V6 and the torque's nice and whatnot. V6 is great, V8, phenomenal. Everybody likes the Camaro. So I bought one, I bought into the hype, and the hype is real. It is a good car, but that loan was, it was a 7-year loan, and it was quite large. It was quite a large loan, and I still, after 3 years of owning the car, I still owed $25,000 on it. And, I'm looking at getting my own house pretty soon. I'd like to save up, to put a down payment and, get married here in a little bit. And it's, your priorities change, and I'm always going to have a manual sports car in my life for sure. I don't at the very current second right here. And that's why, I'm asking you guys what I should get. I always like cars, and I will always have like a manual sports car, probably a manual V8 in my life. But that car was more nice than it was anything. Yeah, it ripped up a mountain road faster than pretty much anything I could think of short of 100 grand. But mainly that car was nice above all else. It looked gorgeous. It looked amazing. It looked like you had money when you were, driving that car. And 2016 Camaros are very nice, and on the inside it's Bose stereo. I had it fully loaded. It was great, but all I really care about is having a fun car, an exhilarating car. And it wasn't like super awesome at that. It was pretty good, but it wasn't like 30 grand good. So, the fact that, I had 91,000 miles on it and still owed 25 grand, I'm like, it just wasn't fitting what I was looking for in a car. So anyway, I don't want this video to get too ranty and rambly, so let's move on to the list of cars I am considering. The first one I was, dead set on was a 2005 to 2009 Mustang GT. I have found plenty of great ones for great deals, but they are around $6,000 to $7,000 for like a really nice one. I could maybe find one for $5,000, talk somebody down to like $4,500, but that would take probably wouldn't get into that until about February. And I'm thinking of getting a car before Christmas. And as much as I'm not a big fan of the styling and the 220 horsepower or whatever in the new Edge Mustang, that has been the number one cheapest car I've seen that's halfway decent to get into. That's a V8 and a manual. If there's another car that's cheaper than that, like $1,000 car or a $2,000 car that you guys can think of that's a V8 and a manual, that's like literally my only criteria, V8 manual. And if there's another car like that, leave it in the comments down below. If you, maybe I'm not thinking of a car with like a LS in it that is even cheaper than that, you know? That's, you know, from my knowledge, that's all I've seen. That's like the cheapest V8 manual car you can get into is a new Edge Mustang. So I'm thinking like 1999 to 2004 or so, or 1997 to 2004. I believe that's the generation. So that is probably what will be going down first. And I might even try the convertible. Just they already don't look that great. So why not have the, you know, the sound come from behind me and have my wind or have my hair flowing in the wind. That'd be cool. Try out a convertible for once. All right, enough about the new Edge Mustang. That'll probably be the car I get first. But on to car number 2. That is the 2005 to 2010 generation of Mustang, which to this day, I think is probably the best looking Mustang, you know, besides the first generation and Eleanor and all that stuff. But I still can't decide what I like better, the 2005 to 2010 generation or the newest Mustang. I really like that generation. I like it much better than the one in between, you know, the GT500 generation, not the new one, the one right before, 2013. That one's kind of has the bubbly round end. It's all right. I like the 2005 to 2010. I know it's like 300 horsepower, 350 torque, something like that, but I have ridden shotgun in one time when I was little, and maybe my perceptions were off, but I remember being slammed into the seat, you know, with the V8, just the torque of the V8 and the old, you know, suspension. I know it's like really soft suspension. It dips down, the nose lifts up, and it's drama, and I like that. It's, you know, it seemed, at the time, it seemed every bit as quick as what I can remember, you know, a new Camaro SS feels like. It's just not really as fast, but it feels as fast. So that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm going for. That car I would probably own for a little bit. I'm thinking maybe even a year, potentially. And then I'll probably get that Mustang probably around my next birthday in July. And then from there, if I wasn't already saving for a down payment on a house, I would try to acquire one more car before, you know, being locked down to a mortgage, and then it's a little bit harder to save for cars and stuff. The third car on the list is a C5 Z06. I have seen them get as low as $10,000, and average for like a really nice one is $15,000. So pretty good, over 400 horsepower, you know, dedicated sports car chassis. It's old, but all that means is the power, it won't handle quite like a new car, and all that means is the power is gonna go further. It's gonna feel faster. That 400 horsepower is going to feel much faster than a brand new car's 400 horsepower. So I like that a lot. And yeah, I'll see when I can get that. Not sure what the timeline is on that one, but those are the 3 cars. New Edge Mustang, 2005 to 2010 Mustang GT, and then C5 Z06, and then eventually C6 Z06. I know those can go for 30 grand and even lower than that. And then after that, I probably have that like forever. If I can get my hands on a C6 Z06, if I ever can pay cash for one of those, I'll probably keep that car forever just because that's a great novelty. The 7-liter torquey motor, the LS7, I love it. And then, you know, if things take off with Motions, you know, my band, if things are going really well and money is not like an issue, everybody knows my dream car is a GT350R. That is my practical dream car. I see them used for like, man, they hold their values. They'll probably always hold their values too. I've seen them used for like 50 and 60 grand. So the GT350, the normal GT350 is the best car I've ever driven. And every reviewer just says that car is just a Mustang, a good handling Mustang with a great motor. And then the GT350R is like a Mustang that Porsche had their hand in making. So if the gap between those 2 cars is so massive, you know, in feel and performance, I'll find a way to get an R. That is the end goal in my lineage of car dreams. And oh, you know what would be a good daily alongside the R would be 2015 used Hellcat. I bet by the time it would even be reasonable for me to get one, they'll probably drop down to like 31 grand. They're already at like 39 for like a 40,000 mile one. So fantastic depreciation. And we're getting real hypothetical in this video now. You know, those last 2 cars is like, you know, if touring the world in my band, and we're making good money. So very hypothetical, but you know, it's fun to do the mental game of it anyway. Yeah, so that is about it. We went through my whole lineage of car dreams and practical cars. The first two, I will, those two Mustangs, I will for sure get probably in the next 12 months. So, but unless you guys have better suggestions. So the criteria is under $5,000, for sure under $5,000, manual V8. That's the only criteria. Go crazy in the comment section. Suggest me everything and anything that is those three things. And maybe you will help me get my first car here, my first little sports car. And yeah, I'm feeling chipper to say the least. I minus 25 grand of debt out of my life in one transaction. So super happy about that, super stoked. When I go to work and you know, get that check, the money is actually mine instead of going straight to a bank. What a concept. So you know, I encourage all you guys to pay cash for your cars as well. That's going to be my little motivational message of the day. Thanks for bearing with me through this long video. It's just been a while since I talked to you guys raw like this, so I just wanted to do that. I think that's about it. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. See ya.